As is often the case when I know I have to travel by air later, I have worked myself up into such a panic that I have just been sick. I tried to refresh my makeup. I don't know if it helped. I don't think it did. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good that I get so nervous about flying that I basically become incapable of functioning. It took me probably a good 2 hours to actually figure out what clothes were safe to wear. What clothes have I traveled with before on a plane? So I know that, well, those were not unlucky clothes. I am not sure though. I put on this sweater and I'm like, wait, I don't know if I've ever traveled by air with this sweater before. So I don't know, could be cursed. The skirt I'm wearing though is my standard plane travel skirt, so maybe that'll make up for the fact that the sweater is not necessarily a tried and tested air travel sweater. I don't know. So yeah, I'm feeling quite nervous. Context though, I'm going to Croatia for an anniversary trip. It's supposed to be fun. But I'm feeling more than anything just really, really nervous about first of all, the prospect of flying. I have checked the turbulence forecast. It doesn't look great. It looks like moderate turbulence pretty much throughout the 2 hour and 20-minute flight, which I am very much not looking forward to. I anticipate I will spend the entire flight just gripping the armrest, and feeling afraid to move because obviously if I move, I will disrupt the balance of the plane and cause it to fall out of the sky. This is how I think when I know I have to travel by plane. I like traveling. I enjoy being in a place. I just cannot seem to handle the process of getting to that place by plane. I am excited to be in Croatia. It looks like a beautiful country. It's a part of the world I've never really been to before, so I'm excited to explore that. Get a stamp in my passport, but I just feel like there is a huge hurdle to be cleared. I'm kind of annoyed because we're flying Ryanair, which is my least favorite airline to fly because obviously they don't treat you very well. And I am kind of worried about my baggage allowance. I'm worried that I won't be able to fit all that I need to fit. It's kind of stupid because I'm well, I guess I'm going to have to bring my laptop with me because I might want to work on some stuff. Also, I feel like I have to bring the artist's way with me because I am on week 3 and I will not fail the artist's way at week 3. This has been the week that has gotten me before, where I've tried to start the artist's way and I've not made it past week 3. I have to continue with the artist's way through this week of travel. I must. So I have to bring this quite large book and my Artist's Way exercise notebook and the journal for my morning pages. And I'm just all on a Ryanair flight. I'll go into the bedroom and show what I've set aside packing wise so far. Let me tell you, it's not much. We've done a backpack. I think I'm going to bring the cheerleader skirt, the plaid dress, pair of tights. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I going on this trip? What am I doing? Oh my God, I haven't watered my plant either. I need to water my plant. Okay, maybe I actually had better water the plant right now. And God, my lipstick looks crazy, but I had to refresh it after I threw up out of sheer nerves. Why? Hello from a balcony in Croatia. I made it. Despite all odds, as you may have been led to believe when I was building up to actually come here, but look at that, I did make it. I did survive the flight. I am here. It's raining. Incredibly hard, actually. So, like, I actually, I was gonna do this like nice balcony shot for the effect, but yeah, it turns out like the weather's not cooperating, and I might just have to go into the hotel room. Hey, look, it's a hotel room. And also, I've come in and clipped up my hair because, like, there are just some levels of hair unacceptability that even I cannot abide. No, no. Anyway, though, yeah, so I've provided the balcony view. I understand that it's not like optimal conditions for me to provide that balcony view. And I really did have the intention of like filming this whole rundown of my travel fears from the balcony to like give a nice, like kind of picturesque juxtaposition to the absolute abject terror I'm going to be describing here today. However, it just didn't work out that way. So instead, hotel bed. I don't really know what happened there. Sobbing on a plane is not good behavior. Let's start from the moment I woke up on Monday morning, my day of travel. Monday, the 30th of September, 2024. So I woke up and I checked the weather. And what do I see but a forecast of rain, 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 and then wind beginning around 7 p.m., which happens to be about the time that we are set to take off from London Stansted Airport to Zadar in Croatia. And I am like, great. Okay, what does wind mean? Wind means turbulence. What am I most afraid of when it comes to flying? Turbulence. I have, of course, heard that, I shouldn't be afraid of turbulence. Turbulence won't knock the plane out of the air. Just think of it as though the plane is in jello. Yeah, nothing helps. Nothing helps. Nothing can quell the fear of turbulence in me. It is ingrained. So I'm looking at this weather forecast and I see turbulence and I think, good luck to me here. This is going to be a great day. Then I try to pack and it doesn't go very well. I have no idea what I want to bring with me. I do pack something. I still, like, now that I'm here and have been here for a few days, don't know if I packed well or correctly, but I packed. I'm wearing this dress again that I wear all the time, but with a cardigan that I don't normally wear it with. So that's creative. I packed. We leave for Stansted Airport, and then we disembark from the Stansted Express and enter the airport. And I still am feeling almost calm. I'm thinking, I just need to put one foot in front of the other. I just need to go through security. I just need to wait to board. I do that. I go through security. I'm okay. We get to the airport bar. I have 2 beers. I'm still okay. Even as I look out the window onto the tarmac and I see the planes and I see that the sky is quite dark for it being the middle of the afternoon, and I can see the trees swaying in the quite significant wind outside, but I'm still thinking, okay, I just need to drink my beer. I drank 2 beers. I was feeling okay. And then I noticed that the flight was delayed. Now, as soon as I notice the flight is delayed, I am thinking, oh no, like this is already, first of all, a late flight. So if we arrive, provided we do arrive, we will be getting there well after midnight. Now, after midnight seems like a time when a hotel check-in desk might not be operational. I look it up, and it confirms my fear that for large hotels, check-in desks will usually be open 24 hours. However, for small hotels, which is what we are indeed staying in, they may not be. And so I am launched into another panic. I am thinking, oh no, what? So we're gonna turn up in Croatia again if we make it there, and then we're gonna get to our hotel, and no one is going to be manning the check-in desk. We won't even be able to enter the hotel. We will not be able to get the keys to our room. They will mark us as a no-show, and we will have to spend the night on the street. So this is what I'm now thinking, and I'm again whipped into an absolute frenzy. And my husband contacts the hotel, and it's fine, but still, the panic has already set in. The panic has been setting in all day, and then we are called to board our plane. we are in the boarding area, and I look around and I notice, there are not many people getting on this plane. And now, one of my many fear of flying superstitions is that I have to be on a full flight, or at least a mostly full flight, in order to feel okay. And now, the way I would describe this has something to do with the weight of the people and their baggage weighing down the plane just enough so that it stays stable in the air. Now, you don't want it to be too heavy because that would surely bring it down, but with a full flight, that's the right balance of people in the plane. This is what I believe. And so I'm looking around and I'm like, there are maybe 50 people in line to board this relatively large plane. It's like a 3 seats by 3 seats plane. I'm like, there are and yeah, no more people come, and that does turn out to be exactly how many people are on the plane. They usher us out onto the tarmac in order to begin the boarding process. And they make us stand there in the quite strong wind for quite a while, and at this point I am actively sobbing. I do not want to get on this plane because also, I neglected to mention this, but this was another major contributor to my terror, which was that we had booked a Ryanair flight. And now I am always a little bit nervous about flying Ryanair, but I can usually handle it. However, we then learned that this flight was not in fact even operated by Ryanair. It was operated by another airline, a stranger to me. This was not an airline that I had flown before, not an airline I had even heard of, and I was terrified because I have not had a chance to check that airline's safety record in advance of getting on one of their planes. No. I'm about to fly on a very turbulent, largely empty flight on an unknown airline. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is a nightmare. But alas, I get on. I get into my seat. I am slightly heartened to see that I am flying an Airbus plane, which I do prefer to flying Boeing because Boeing has had a lot of safety issues in past years. However, Airbus, as a European carrier with maybe more stringent regulations placed upon it, I feel calmer on an Airbus plane. And then we take off. The takeoff is not as turbulent as I expected it to be. In fact, it wasn't turbulent at all, as it turns out. And much of the flight, there were moments of turbulence, pockets, as they say. However, they weren't terrible. I was feeling like maybe I did, maybe I was a little bit hasty in saying that this was going to be a super dangerous flight. I sat there though, and we had some wine. It was good wine, actually. I tried really hard to think about childhood Christmas. It helped in a way, though it also hurt in the sense that childhood Christmas comes with a lot of feelings of joy and calm, and the subtext to those feelings while I'm on a plane is that, well, I might never feel joy and calm ever again. But then something interesting happened. As we were approaching the airport in Croatia, and as I was looking down through the night sky at the twinkling of lights of seashore towns, I almost started to feel something like calm. I almost started to feel something like wonder. I almost started to think, oh, wait, is this feeling the reason why I put myself through these ordeals from time to time? Because it actually can lead to some cool experiences. Maybe that's why. And then we landed, and it was fine. And we checked into our hotel, and it's a very nice hotel. And I'm like, okay. So was I a little bit foolish here? Maybe. Yeah. So I made it back. Would you believe it that I made it back? After what a fuss I made about all of that, it was completely fine, honestly. The flight back was also completely fine. I was like less panicked, but also still quite panicked. I did think about just leaving it off there, but I felt that, you know what, for this to be useful to anyone, and, you know, believe it or not, I am maybe somewhat concerned with usefulness. Not super concerned, but still, I'm a little concerned with usefulness. I thought it might be helpful for me to like do a little psychoanalysis of myself, coming from the expertise of having taken Psych 101, and that's it. So, tracing the history here of my fear of flying. I would say that I'm not afraid of flying because it's an unfamiliar thing. It's not a weird thing for me to do. I actually fly quite a bit and always have kind of flown a fair bit in my life. Like, I flew as a child, I flew as a teenager, and I have flown quite a bit as an adult because I live in London and I'm from Michigan and I need to go see my family and then I need to come back to London. Like, that is how it works. I fly definitely several times per year for that. And I know it's not like good from a carbon footprint perspective, and I wish I could cut back on it, honestly. But, you know, for now, it is what it is right now, I guess. I mean, I do feel guilty about that, but it's not like I'm traveling like all the time anyway. I don't know. Now I'm getting into like this whole moral quandary of like, what am I doing with my life? Like, in addition to the fact that my life terrifies me, I'm now like, am I a bad person? Stop. We're not getting into that. But anyway, I have to fly a fair bit. So it's not unfamiliarity that makes me afraid of flying. And also, it has not always been this way. See, when I was a child, a teenager, I would fly without hesitation. I was not afraid of it. I got motion sickness a little bit, but that was like the worst of it. And the first instance of my fear of flying, though, came when I was 19. And it was the summer after my freshman year of college. Now, I'm not going to get into the reason why I think I had a fear of flying in that case yet, but let's put a pin in it and come back to it. And then I had many years where I was, again, fine. Like, age like approximately 2021 to the age of 28, I was fine. I moved to the UK when I was 22 and began this crazy transcontinental life. And again, I was pretty okay with flying. I found it fine. I didn't love turbulence, but I could deal with it. I would sometimes actually even look forward to flying because I thought, oh wow, like it's some time when I just get to be like by myself, no responsibilities, no commitments, no one can reach me. I am just here in my own world for a few hours. And then something happened when I was about 28 that basically made my fear of flying go off the charts to the level I've demonstrated in this previous video. And the thing that I think happened there was that I started to realize that I likely was not going to get to renew my student visa to the UK and I would have to leave. It was at that point that I entered into this cycle of my life where I felt like I had control over nothing. I felt that I didn't have control over where I lived. I ended up finding myself in work situations where I was doing stuff that I really did not want to do, stuff that I had not chosen. I was just kind of doing it for the money, and I was living in an expensive city, so I felt like I had to keep making money, and I felt trapped. Like every day felt like a prison, and I couldn't do anything about it. And meanwhile, every time I have to fly, I go into a state of absolute and complete panic, as demonstrated. What I realize as I'm going through this is, well, what gives you less control than flying? When you're flying, you just have to trust. You just have to trust the process. You just have to believe that your pilot is going to get you from point A to point B safely, and there is very little, actually nothing, you can do about it. And so I think what flying does is it just exacerbates the feelings of lack of control that I have in my life. And then I go back to the time when I was 19, and that one really confused me for a long time because I thought, well, I was fine in my life then. Why was I afraid of flying then? It was okay. And what I came to kind of like realize was, well, I mean, it wasn't on the same scale as like losing my life in the UK and having to set up again, completely different place, and having to redo everything I'd ever done and feeling like I was doing everything wrong and getting everything wrong. It wasn't quite like that. But it was after my freshman year of college, and I was definitely feeling that I hadn't quite found my place yet, and I was quite afraid that I maybe wouldn't find my place. And so I think that explains my 19-year-old self's fear of flying. And yeah, I mean, it just comes down to control, though. Being in a plane just takes that low-grade frustration I feel all the time at having no control over my life. Being in a plane just amplifies that. I don't want this to be the case anymore. Like, I am really, really tired of this being this way, and I want to put an end to it, but I'm not sure how. However, I think that maybe I really got to work on feeling more of a sense of autonomy in my life. Maybe I really got to work on feeling that I have control over my days. I mean, I know that no one will ever have complete control over everything in their life. Like, I know that's not how it works, but I feel that I could have more control in how I spend my time. I could have more autonomy in being able to not, say, be chained to my computer doing tasks all the time that I don't want to do and don't see the point of. I could try to let go of that, maybe a little bit. And maybe if I feel that my day-to-day life is better, maybe the fear of flying will also start to reduce again, because I actually need it to. Is that this has just been quite the experience. Like, it's been kind of ridiculous, and it really did take me documenting it to see how ridiculous, and it's like kind of hilarious, but I also didn't find it funny in the moment in the slightest. And so I'm like, this needs to actually probably change, because we can't go on in this way with this level of panic. Anyway, this is not the end, though, of the documentation of my trip to Croatia. I have more coming, more that's like actual footage of the place. And I have more thoughts and reflections on the topic of travel, and that's coming soon. So, I mean, stay tuned. I mean, this is only part one of the joys of travel. And actually, we are going to get a little more into the joys of travel, but also we're going to get into the question of what does it mean to try to escape your day-to-day reality? And can you truly escape your day-to-day reality? It's all topical, part one, part two. I'm always thinking.